Hello friends, my name is Emile and welcome back once again to the Hot Lap Classic. This time we're taking a look at the 1995 MGF 1.8i VVC. A car that sounds weird no matter how you say it. If I just say 1995 MGF, feels like I'm missing something out, and saying MGF is a bit weird. Nevertheless, this car was requested by Juracer, and, well, statistically it isn't all that impressive. 244 horsepower, 990 kilograms, 23.8 somethings of torque, which isn't a lot. It is mid-engined rear drive, of course. Anyways, it is going to have 6 laps to see how good it can do at the Motorsports Land track, while our current leader is a Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 5 RS with a time of a 29.490. I don't think the MGF is going to get up there. I think the MGF's best comparison is probably going to be against the MX-5, which I believe set a high 33. So it'll be interesting to see how this car does compared to that one. One interesting thing to note is, unlike any other car which I'm driving in today's set of vehicles, this one is the only one that is not an S-Class vehicle. Actually, that could be slightly wrong, come to think of it, but it's an A-Class vehicle, not an S-Class vehicle. In the arcade modes, most of these vehicles, pretty much all of them, actually are S-Class, but yeah, apparently the MG is not one of those. The MG also is not a very nice car to drive, as it turns out. It's kind of understeery. I've noticed that with pretty much all the cars I've driven today, but this one is probably the most surprising for me to get understeering out of. I mean, it could be a case, with these mid-engined rear drive cars, there's usually a bit of a weird thing going on with them. Usually mid-engined rear drive is very nice to drive and you don't get any understeer out of it. However, if the car is so light that there really isn't much weight over the front, there isn't really anything to push the front wheels into the ground, which sort of means they don't get as much grip as maybe they should, and that results in understeer as well. It's very weird. Anyways, a 34.032 on our first flying lap. Not a spectacular lap time by any stretch of the imagination, but come on, MG. We'll see what we can do for it. For Great Britain and all the rest of it. Of course, this was one of MG's... Well, actually, this was MG's final car. Sold here in the... sold here in the UK until they returned with those horrible Chinese crap boxes like the MG3 and so on. Ooh, we are going to get a bit of a better time on this one, 33.884. But yeah, the MGF would eventually turn into the MGTF, which would run until 2005 when MG would shut down, and then they bought it back in 2008 as a special edition run that was hopelessly expensive, but everyone bought one for some reason. So yeah, people seem to actually quite enjoy the MGF. You do see a fair few of these still around. A lot of people like using them for like classic, cheap, affordable roadsters and stuff like that. Just scraping into the, almost the 32 there, with a 33.271. I do believe that has actually beaten the MX-5 Miata, which is pretty good going for what this car is. Don't know if it'll be beating anything else though. I guess we'll find out once we hit the leaderboard segment of the show. Yeah, I mean, the more I'm getting used to it, the more it's okay. Like, the rear end doesn't step out. This isn't like the MX-5. The MX-5, the rear end steps around quite a bit. The consequence of that, though, was the MX-5 was fun, and this just isn't fun. It's, like I said, it's kind of understeery. It doesn't really have enough power to pull itself out of the corners at any huge amount of velocity. Like, sure, it's fine, but fine isn't good enough, especially in the segment that this car's competing. You know, it's got to go against MX-5s and MR2s and stuff like that, and I would much rather have one of those. We are going to go slightly quicker on this lap though. Can we get into the 32s? Not quite. 33.206 for the MGF. Not a terrible, awful time. It certainly does put it sort of lower on our leaderboard. But to be honest with you, I was kind of expecting the MG to hang around there. Anyways, it could have gone very marginally quicker. I think if you drove it long enough, you could probably get it into the very, very late 32s. But yeah, not a hugely exciting car. Anyways, let's go find out where it places on our leaderboard. Onto our leaderboard, and the MGF doesn't put in the best performance in the world. It does end up in 16th place with a 33.206. Does beat a Miata by 0.5 of a second, which is pretty good. Slightly off of the Aston Martin DB7 Coupe and the Ford Mustang GT. But overall, not a particularly good showing for the MGF, although we didn't really expect it to be hugely quick anyway. Anyways, friends, that is it for this episode of the Hot Lap Classic. As always, if you have cars you'd like to request for this series, you can do so down below in the comment section. Alternatively, go into the description. You can see a full requests form featuring every single car in Gran Turismo 2 as well. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a farewell.